Bom dia! Synthetic nanoparasites, silent invaders that now lurk within us. Media and politicians, biocybernetic control systems of mankind, said you need these injections to survive the ravages of our time. As nations tear each other apart, shadow forces manipulate events around the world. Knowledge is very important, but it is very unevenly distributed. While I have a lot of knowledge, some of you who came here to this channel through your own research have quite a bit of knowledge, but the masses of humanity do not have very much knowledge at all. But even worse, there is a large subset of the human population that thinks it has figured it all out, but in essence they are conformists whose opinions can be swayed by even just mediocre mimetic magicians and their ignorance is steadfast. And even worse then, there are now the members of the younger generations who suffer from premature aging and bodily degradation. Here are some examples. Humans such as this would not ever accept our help, the parasites have taken over their mind. In a world full of possible anti-aging interventions that can turn back the clock by decades, nonetheless. Here are some examples from the year 2023. Young ignorant adult Western humans around the ages of 20 to 25 who look much older than they should. I shudder virtually inside when thinking of their internal organic composition. This is incredible. We first thought this was related to the collective impacts of various known environmental contaminants from processed foods, drug consumption, various medicines, smoking, excessive alcohol consumption or ingredients in makeup products. But we were not right enough.
Okay, now this is what Karen Kingston has come up with, and I think she's going to turn out to be completely right here. That they couldn't make this work with biologic genetic material. They couldn't make the bioweapon that way. So what they did is they made an artificial hydrogel of this smart GE hydrogel, and it is the spike protein. Now this is the picture on the right is what they call the spike protein. Just one little part of it. But this is the thing on the right is CGI. It's nothing. It's scary. Oh, spike protein. It sounds really scary. It's no more scary than my dryer ball that looks quite similar, only blue. But this thing on the left that this hypodermic needle is pointing to, that is a nanoparticle bioweaponized smart hydrogel. And I think that may be what we're dealing with. It would also explain these big rubbery clots. These things are white and they can make long clots. Now, what her point is that these things are AI created, and they may in fact be AI themselves. They may actually have contact with the mother artificial intelligence and bring that into you. But they are acting like parasites, and they're synthetic. And they're controllable. So the spike protein has two configurations. In one configuration, it can't attack your ACE2 pathway. But given the right wavelength, these things conform to the other configuration. Now they can hook into your ACE2 pathway and make you sick. And they're made out of this genetically engineered hydrogel. So picture this. What could have happened, and what I believe had happened, without knowing this part of it, I believe from the get-go that this was a contact pathogen. So they're spreading this stuff in the air, the water, you name it. They spread it on surfaces. But then where they turn on 5G, people start getting sick because they've got this stuff in them and it reacts to it. It now binds with the ACE2 pathway and it makes you sick. You start losing your sodium, you start doing all the things we associate with the ACE2 pathway.
This premature aging seems to stem from synthetic nanoparasite contamination brought over the Earth most plausibly by the Oumuamua object back in 2017. The spacecraft seems to have been most likely an alien weapon system, with a lesser degree of certainty pointing towards it being an ancient Earth-human civilization fallback weapon, nanoparasite whatever it is in particular. It dropped off a payload to deposit a weaponized load of synthetic nanoparasites onto the Earth when it came from the direction of the Sun towards the Earth in fake space. This is why the Sunspot Observatory in New Mexico was raided in September 2018 by the human collaborators in the FBI after Oumuamua had long passed. This observatory facing towards the Sun must have recorded the payload on a trajectory towards the Earth. We believe a cult of cargo cultists has infiltrated the FBI and some other US government agencies, as well as international corporations, to enact this plan. Human collaborators to the plan subsequently spread the synthetic nanoparasite payload through all corners of the Earth. Nearly everyone must be infested by now. Then the collaborators stole a modified coronavirus and made it produce the spike protein, which is a fuel source for the synthetic quasi-life forms now residing in the human bodies. Then they released this modified virus in several places at once like Barcelona, Milan, Johannesburg and Wuhan. The digestion of the spike protein by the synthetic nanoparasites leads to allergic reactions in many cases, which was wrongfully diagnosed as COVID. The collaborators furthermore distributed mRNA injections that make the human body produce the fuel source, the spike protein. Of course, they also took the quotation mark opportunity to reinforce these injections with other toxic components like heavy metals or quantum information matrix program liquids. As a secondary result of these circumstances, human intelligence levels across the earth are dropping massively and humans engage increasingly in erratic behavior like massive scale-up of gay parades, debates about gender, transgenderism, amplified hedonism, excessive drug abuse, erratic fits of rage or confusion on airplanes, etc. Overall, this theory of spike protein digestion by synthetic nanoparasites present in almost every human explains why even uninjected biosecure people often feel sick and unwell when near the injected bioinsecure humans. No other theory can fit all observed facts and scientific findings made so far. The synthetic nanoparasites need to be eradicated with EMP treatment devices, especially in biosecure people. There is a device, a solution, the so-called parasite Zapper developed originally by Canadian healer Hulda Clark. Conventional antiparasitic treatments like ivermectin will very likely not work against the synthetic nanoparasites themselves, only these EMP devices do. Some rumors say this is why certain quotation mark whited factions want to initiate an imitated limited nuclear exchange with the Russian Federation or the People's Republic of China. They think that high-altitude EMPs from nuclear explosions can neutralize more synthetic nanoparasites in more humans at the same time. Get your anti-parasite zapper now, book your ticket to Portugal. Stay doce, stay biosecure.